let's move on to another. Well, this one too comes kind of in multiple parts. So the first part, this is a question from Anka Andre. How did you get/find your job? And then, well, I'll just read this all and you can focus on whichever piece of this you care to. So did you attend a career fair? Also, what about the job description enticed you? And then lastly, did you network? So I think there's several fronts on which you could respond to this.
Okay, I'll go first again. Sorry. I get my job kind of lucky through alumni. Yeah, there's a lot of Tufts alumni in working in AMS already, and yeah, some from math. I'm not the only one. Did I go to career fair? Yes, I did, but yeah, it's not that helpful. It's my experience. Networking, yes, I did. But finally, what I get is kind of through networking, right? It's because from alumni, and the job description enticed me. Yeah, because Amazon Alexa is cool. It's a new tech. It's high. Everybody knows it, and it's fun. So yeah, that's my experience. And I was also kind of lucky because like back in 2 years, there was Alexa is really expanding. They're really aggressively hiring a lot of people. So that also helped. Yeah.
I would say networking and internships are key. And because they allow for a transition. Essentially, I was at a later stage of life, but I asked a friend, I said I was interested in summer employment. And he said, I much to my surprise, I will say, I have exactly the thing for you. And so I started spending some summers with basically my current employer. And after a while, when they needed a director, I was there. So, but networking in my world is particularly key because when you're doing classified work, I can't tell you when I'm hiring you what you're going to be doing for me. But if your friend tells you it's a great deal of fun, that helps a lot.
Yeah, so mine was actually a little bit different where I just, for both job applications, both the startup straight out of school and Dell, I just cast a really wide net. Really any job that looked like I would be interested in it and that I satisfied maybe half of what they were looking for in the position I would apply for. And so like I did the career fairs, I did the networking, but at the end of the day, it was just a numbers game. And you apply to enough jobs and you will get callbacks and you'll get technical interviews and then you'll get a chance to prove yourself.
Okay. Any further thoughts on that cluster of questions? Okay. Well, we have another question here. This is one that was submitted by one of the folks who had pre-registered. And it sort of tags on to what you were talking about. I mean, question is, how do you find job opportunities for mathematicians, and how can you contact insider people? So I guess it's a question about sort of
I'll take that one
networking.
because I was trying sort of everything.
Yeah.
So I tended to be biased towards jobs that had scientists in the title. I tended to be biased towards jobs that it looked like they were intellectually interesting, and those are also the jobs that they are interested in you because they want someone who has sort of the PhD background who likes to go explore. But as far as a strictly math job, your options are actually pretty limited outside of software engineering. There's a few places, but really the main advantage of academia versus industry, which is not the purpose of this talk, is the ability to be paid to do math. So there are places where you can do it, but they're rare.
I would just repeat what I said about internships. There are a lot of them out there. There are lists of them. that's the way to become or find out who the insiders are. And I mentioned some for students, and I mentioned some for faculty, and that's just the other ones I know about. There are others out there.
Yeah, same here. Sorry, I didn't mention this. Actually, I didn't directly get a job offer. I actually get an intern offer, and that turned finally into a job offer. Yeah, I think if you have intern opportunity, it's great. It's paid, and usually the intern offer, the bar is lower, and you can really like have a 3 months, few months to work with the guys, and you can know whether you like it or not, whether it's a fit or not. And it can turn into a job offer much easier than you get directly a job offer. So I'll say whenever there's intern opportunity, just say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I should also mention that my first offer was a contractor position for like 2 months, and then that turned into a full-time offer.
Good. Okay. Well, we have a little bit different direction in the next question here. Is it more difficult to get hired as an international student? Does that status make a difference? This question comes from Makoto Suwama.
Let me answer that first so I don't have to say anything more. We only hire US citizens because of our circumstances.
Well, I was international student, and I didn't see any difficulty, but I don't know if that counts as this question. Maybe maybe the company's HR knows better of this than me. I think it's still okay. We still see a lot of like, especially like in Amazon, there's people all over the world. It's coming every day, every year. Yeah, I don't see any things blocking us.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know about the job search part of it, but certainly our team has people from all over the world, and it doesn't seem to be a problem, unless you're working, of course, with classified information, and then that's a different ballgame.
Okay. Well, we're certainly hearing, that internships are really kind of one key way to get an entree into interesting jobs that pertain to mathematics. I'm looking now at another question from one of our participants in the webinar right now regarding, well, regarding internships. Is there really a difference for domestic students as opposed to international students? It's sort of a bit of a tag on to the previous question.
Yeah, I think the answer is we don't really know, but certainly at both Dell and it seems like at Amazon, they're pretty open to it regardless.
And as I said, we're not open to it at all.
Okay. Here's one that deals with professional associations. Is professional association and conference attendance helpful? This comes from Sharon Johnson.
I'll say depends on what type of conference. Like if you work in Alexa, if you attend any like conference related to machine learning or NLP, it's certainly gonna be important. It will evaluate it the same as your publication and stuff. But if you said you attend some math conference, then it really depends on like what kind of job you're applying for. I bet for most of the hiring teams, they're still looking for relevant experience. Sure, you said you have some publications and conference experience. It shows that you have the potential of doing all this research. But yeah, if it's more relevant, then must be better.
I might be the outlier here, but I recruit at math conferences all the time. That's where I recruit, actually.
Yeah, for us, it's it would be like fourth or fifth highest on the list of priorities because we're not looking for subject matter expertise. You might have the opportunity to meet someone, so that would be a networking opportunity, but maybe demonstrating interest is as far as it would get you. But there's other ways to do that as well.
Okay. So here is a question that has to do with passion for mathematics. How has Big preserved your passion for mathematics?
Interesting. I think they mean not your organization, Tom, but being an industry and the like.
Right. Right.
And it has enhanced my passion for mathematics and expanded my definition of what mathematics is.
All right. Could you elaborate a little more on that? I think.
No, as I said, we're a building full of mathematicians, some of whom have degrees in electrical engineering, and I've really enjoyed learning. That's one of the fun parts I've been doing, is learning about electrical engineering, learning about language, learning about all sorts of things that I didn't learn about in graduate school, for sure. It's all mathematics as far as I can tell, and it's been a great deal of fun.
Yeah, I've had more limited opportunity to work on things that have math. I will say that if anything even vaguely associated to math rolls into the office, I sort of box out and try to grab it. So we had a quantum computing project come along and I said, yes, pick me. I want to learn that. Yes, please. So really, I definitely get to see a lot more of math breadth than I would otherwise, but certainly the depth suffers.
Yeah, it's kind of similar experience here. When I got this job, I thought, okay, I never need my algebra knowledge anymore. Because actually, undergrad, I was also in pure math, and I take a few pure maths. But you never know. Like when I pick up some domain knowledge, like in ASR, there's finite state machines widely used, and I don't even know this before until I get the job. There's algebra in there. It's talking about semi rings, and I started to find out. Okay, I know this stuff, and then in the work, and then I say, hi, I'm from math major. Then I kind of share the knowledge. Describing about this algebra stuff, share the knowledge to my team. Yeah, so it's nice.
All right. Well, these are good insights. Well, here's a different sort of question. Let's see. Would any of the recommendations that you've given be different for a non-traditional student? In particular, is the job market for someone over 40 starting a profession with an MS in statistics? What's the job market like for someone, say, in that category?
Yeah, so I don't know for sure, but I would be optimistic about it. I think really everyone is trying to not look at who the candidate is as much as what they know and what they can contribute. And like we do our best to do that. So like if you come in and you make it to an interview and do well on the technical interview, like there's no reason we wouldn't hire you.
I should say that I was well over 40 when I made the transition from academia. And I would agree. It's the willingness to do it is all that's really necessary, I think.
Yeah, I don't see like age never be an issue in nobody never ask you. And for myself, I started also, spent more years than others in graduate school. So I thought there's the transition, there's going to be some friction there, but it turned out to be smoother than I thought. Yeah.
Okay, so, and sort of an optimistic outlook for folks who may be following a quote unquote non-traditional path. That question, by the way, I'm not sure I said this, came from Carolina Linsky. Okay. So here's a question that gets at, in part, kind of differentiating what the opportunities are for, say, undergraduates, as opposed to those with who are PhD students or who have PhDs. The question is, when applying for internships, should graduate students only apply for intern roles intended for PhD students rather than, say, those for undergraduates?
Yeah, I would say just apply for everything. Everything that you have the bandwidth for, go for. If they are interested in you in a different capacity, they'll tell you. So like, you might as well. You can't be rejected if you don't apply.
I am quite familiar. NSA hires from bachelor's all the way up, and in fact, they have, if they really like you, they have a program that they'll pay your way through graduate school part-time. So there are all sorts of, in my wider world, as I said, originally we only hire PhDs, but in the wider world of the people I work with, we work with bachelor's, masters, et cetera. What you need to be good is at problem solving. You need to be willing to do hard mathematics or technical work of some sort, and you need to be broad rather than narrow in your interests.
Yeah, for me, I don't see any like intern or any offers like I bet if it has like hard requirement, it will be in the job description, right? But I would say if you are a PhD, you wanna, well, I didn't quite get the question. So if you say if you are a PhD, do you want to apply for interns for undergrad or something like that?
I think it would be if it's like not listed in the requirement, and it seems like it's targeting undergrads most.
I think I bet but by reading those job requirements and job description, you kind of have a sense like what the kind of level is looking for. But I'll suggest in that case you probably want to apply for whatever you feel is like more fit for you, because you can be rejected because you're overqualified. So
yes,
if you can do you are PhD, you are capable. Just apply for the whatever job or intern at your level. Why not?
Yeah, I would amend my statement. Don't make HR angry. Apply for the best job for you at a given company.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, if you get rejected, don't be frustrated. Maybe because you're overqualified.
Right. So BIG includes G, which is government, and just be aware those guys really like rules, and so yes. Somebody will throw your application out if there's a mismatch between the job description and your background. So if you have a PhD and they don't ask for it, then they care about that a lot. But mine's a smaller place. We're flexible, but yes, you will find places that are not flexible.
I love USA Jobs. It's a good application site.